And then last one on the forced labor in Xinjiang in China. Some companies have come under pressure from the Chinese government, and some retailers have actually dropped pledges not to use products made with forced labor from that region. So what is the U.S. doing to stop or deter China from making those kind of threats against companies that have resulted in this problem?
Well, we certainly have been watching this issue closely, as you well know, and we've taken our own strong actions in order to prevent China from profiting off of its horrific human rights abuses in Xinjiang and to stop imports of products made with forced labor in China. American consumers and consumers everywhere deserve to know that that the goods they are buying are not made with forced labor, and many companies are standing up for consumers' rights. The international community, in our view, should oppose China's weaponizing of private companies' dependence on its markets to stifle free expression and inhibit ethical business practices. So it is something we are watching closely. We, of course, taken our own action. I would expect that state and commerce will have more to say on this later today.
Just one quick follow-up, though, because it seems like you've been having this message out there for the first couple months of this administration, but China only seems more emboldened to threaten these companies. So what more can be done from the White House to try to deter them from making these threats?
Well, we can work with our international partners, obviously, as I conveyed, on how we're going to push back on China's efforts to weaponize private companies. And we can convey publicly, as we are now, and of course engage with private sector entities about these efforts. But a lot of that action would happen from Commerce and in some cases the State Department. And again, I expect they'll have more specifics to say later today on this. Go ahead, Caitlin.
3 questions on the WHO investigation that's coming out. Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, said a few months ago that they had deep concerns about the way that investigation was being conducted. Did they still have those deep concerns?
In part because there was a lack of transparency and there was a lack of, we weren't ensured that we would have access to the data available. So there was a delay. They actually delayed the release of that report, which we were encouraged by. We'll have to take a look at it and make sure we have access to the underlying information.
So what happens if the report comes out and President Biden is not satisfied with it?
Not satisfied with the report? Well, we've also called for an international investigation and look into what's happened and the origin, not just the origin, I should say, the lack of transparency from the Chinese. We have reinstituted or re-engaged with through staffing of our team on the ground in Beijing. So we'll see what the report says. Where we have concerns, we'll look at the underlying data if we have access to that, and then we'll have to make a determination through an interagency process on what's next.
And just